Hello, everyone. Pray for my health, our finances. Pray for the Lord's will to be done in our lives. For a friend of mine and her husband to rely on the Lord and His guidance for a hard decision that they have to make, that they will make the right decision. And for worldwide salvation, always pray that you're found worthy. Pray for just the world in general. I think that's it. I think I said our finances. All right, now for a little God time. And today's topic is the spice rack. Anyone who does any amount of cooking has a spice rack, that one place where all seasonings are kept. Are kept within easy reach of the stovetop. There are some spices that get used consistently: garlic, salt, and pepper. And there are other spices that may only be used once in a while: cardamom, tarragon, anise. While those other lesser used spices may collect dust in the back of our spice cupboards, we still rely on them to bring out just the right flavor in that one particular meal. Life is a lot like a spice rack. We shelve our experiences like spices. Some make so much sense, like salt and pepper. We pull from them often, clearly recognizing their usefulness. Other experiences are more subtle and undeclared. Sometimes we go years never understanding why we had them. But then, in one moment, our life recipe will call for a little saffron. And all at once, it will make so much sense. The experience we had, the one we thought we must have had by mistake, will be the only one that matters for that moment. We know that in everything God works for the good of those who love Him. They are the people He called because that was His plan. Romans 8:28. Is there a season in your life that you often wonder about? You might look at that time and only see failure or waste. When you can't make sense of why it happened, remember that God will work it all for His good because you love Him. And I know that everything happens for a reason, so I don't really have any moments of my life that leave me dumbfounded. God has purpose for all His children. And that is true. I do know that there was one thing that happened. I had tried committing suicide, and I am here definitely for a reason, because, and this is like a testimony too, I had took a bunch of pills. I had like birth control, Seroquel or something, I think it was called, something with an S, and a bunch of other stuff, like old pills I didn't throw them out. I had them like in this drawer, and I just took them all. And I had called my dad, and I told him I loved him and what I did, and then I went to go lay down to just go to sleep and never wake up again. And then I hear a knock on the door, and I get up all like I'm not really feeling much at the moment. I answer the door, and it was my sister. My dad had called her to go over there and check on me. And we're sitting on the swing outside, and she's like, "Did you take medicine or whatever?" And I lied and I said no. She's like, "Okay, because Dad told me that you called him." And I said, "I just said that because I was depressed." She's like, "Okay." Well, we're talking some, and then I started feeling weird. And I was just like, "Crystal, I lied. I took a lot of pills. And I'm feeling really weird, and it's freaking me out." And she's like, "I gotta take you to the hospital, right?" I was like, "I know." So we get in the car, and like on the way, she was telling me my eyes were like puffy and red and like all this stuff. Well, when we finally got to the hospital, we were standing there trying to check in, and I couldn't even stand. I like fell to the floor. My sister had to help me up. And I remember they brought me back in the room, and I was feeling so crazy. I didn't realize it until years later when I had another one that it was a panic attack. I thought it was the pills, but it was probably both that and just me freaking out. But I felt like I could not sit still. I was going nuts. and I was just all over that bed, just flipping everywhere like a fish. And I was trying to rip my clothes off, and I was hot, and I was freaking out. I'm like, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. And people just walking by, I'm like freaking out that I'm gonna die. Like, I didn't want to die all of a sudden. And they had to pump my stomach or whatever, that charcoal or whatever they do. And I remember waking up a couple of times, and I will never forget this, looking up and seeing my parents looking at me crying, and I just will never forget that. And well, some of the stuff I didn't remember. I guess one moment I had woken up because they kept me overnight, and I guess my brother was talking to me. I didn't remember it because I guess the blinds were open. He's like, "You see my new truck out there?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's cool." I did not remember that at all. And I just, the next day, I think it was, I don't remember if it was 2 nights or one night, but I think it was only one night. But it turns out I took enough pills to kill 3 people. And the woman, a couple of nurses were saying it was a miracle. And my dad, one nurse said that I shouldn't have been alive, that I should have been dead. And even if I did live like I did, I should have been a vegetable. I like just like not be able to take care of myself, to be fed and changed and bathed and everything. I would have been practically brain dead. And she said, it's just a complete miracle. And my dad said, yeah, God did it or whatever. And I wasn't saved at the time, obviously. I believed, but I wasn't saved. And so years later, I was sitting, I got saved. I was saved down. And well, back, I was thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, like God has a purpose. He knew I was going to accept him because he knows everything. And he knew I was going to be his servant and do his will. And it just like, it's so exciting. It's just like, really, like, I can't even put it into words how awesome that is, that he saved me. I should have been dead and I should have been in hell, but I'm here instead doing his will. And it's just, thank God, praise God. I can't even, I'm like tongue tied, I guess. It's just really, I guess that was one moment, like, I didn't know why I was saved, but he had a purpose for me. And if you ever feel suicidal, contact somebody. Nothing is worth killing yourself over. Trust me. So that is it. Yeah. I will see you guys later. Love you guys. Bye.